If you're a citizen of Canada, Australia, New Zealand, or the UK and would like to travel, work, or go to school in one of the other 4 countries, you're going to be very interested in learning about the CANZUK proposal, because if it becomes active, you'll be able to freely move between all 4 countries without ever having to deal with any visas to go to work, to go to school, or to even start a business. Now, will this become reality? It's looking more and more likely that this will happen. I'm going to give you a brief overview of CANZUK and why there's a really good chance that it could happen and relatively soon. First, a little background. As you can imagine, the name CANZUK is a simple acronym for the 4 countries: Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and the United Kingdom. The idea that these 4 countries would enjoy a close trading and immigration relationship is not a new idea at all. It's been talked about since at least 1967. One of the biggest reasons why it hasn't been seriously discussed until relatively recently is because while the UK was part of the European Union, they were not permitted to enter into trade negotiations as a standalone country. Now, as a result of Brexit, the UK is free to negotiate as they please. In fact, since their departure from the EU, there has been a definite sense of urgency in the UK to get some trade deals done, because currently, the way they sit, they're at a bit of a global disadvantage. You might be asking, doesn't the fact that the UK just departed from a significant free movement and trade deal mean that they'd be very unkeen to sign up for a CANZUK agreement? Well, one of the primary reasons why the UK wanted out of the EU in the first place was because of the complete lack of restrictions on immigration based on things like criminal history. In other words, regardless of what sort of trouble you had been in, you could still freely move around, including moving to the UK. The proposal for CANZUK would cover this and a few other things as well. In fact, Australia and New Zealand currently enjoy a free movement agreement that does check for those sort of things. You know, we've seen the EU and some of its failings, and we've learned. Any final negotiations over CANZUK will definitely cover these issues and others. But why these 4 countries? Here's where we can talk about the compatibility of the potential CANZUK members. In all 4, they share a common language, a common law legal tradition, parliamentary democracy, the same head of state that's in the king. All 4 enjoy basic free trade, the same respect for human rights and the rule of law, relative low unemployment, and good health care. I think most people would agree that while there are plenty of differences between all 4 countries, there are a lot of cultural similarities between us, so that it just seems to make sense. Now, is there truly a possibility that CANZUK could become reality? The answer to that is yeah, absolutely. As I already mentioned, New Zealand and Australia already have what amounts to the same thing. It's just the addition of Canada and the UK. And it's a really popular idea, with 64% support in the UK, 72% in Australia, 81% in New Zealand, and 77% in Canada. Even the province of Quebec, 67% of the people polled like the idea. Politicians in Australia and UK in particular have been very busy recently talking about the proposal. The Conservative Party of Canada, the People's Party of Canada, and even the Liberal Party have all expressed support for CANZUK, especially in light of what's happening south of the border. Sure, there'd be a ton of work to negotiate all the fine details, but it seems as though things are beginning to come together. With 2 countries in the south, 2 countries in the north, it seems really compatible. From an agricultural standpoint, for example, during the northern summer, we could ship produce south, and the reverse could happen in the winter. With a combined GDP of $6.4 trillion and a population of 132 million people, CANZUK would have a negotiating strength able to rival China, the EU, and even the US. From an expat or even an international student point of view, the opportunities would be tremendous, not to mention the benefits to each member nation. So that's CANZUK in a nutshell. Let me know in the comments what you think of the idea of CANZUK, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. Until next time.